is going to hurt your income and hurt your ability to acquire women. So I would just eat clean and be a professional in every way, shape, or form. It's going to positively influence your life to have a leaner physique than to have a blubbery physique.
Warning! You're watching Dr. Todd Lee TV, where theoretically you could learn a bunch of cool shit.
Greetings, Earthlings. It is I, Todd Lee, IFBB Pro, medical doctor, and biochemist. And I'd like to talk to you today about something very special to me. Something that I absolutely fucking hate. I hate the term bulking. Why? Because people say, I want to start my bulking phase. It's like, so you have a whole phase dedicated towards the goal of bulking. Is your goal to be bulky? No. Then why would you have a whole phase dedicated towards being bulky? Well, that's what people call it. I was like, what, stupid people? Why would you call it bulking? You're not trying to get bulky. You're trying to get like jacked or huge, or you're trying to grow muscle. You're trying to hypertrophize, if that's such a term. But I always say I'm trying to enter a growth phase, or I'm trying to go into a lean mass phase. But and you hear some people use the oxymoronic term lean bulk. It's like, wait a minute. So you're trying to gain fat and be lean at the same time? And people are confused. It's like, look, before you were whatever you consider yourself now, the term bulking meant eating junk food to gain fat, because gaining fat was how you thought you gained muscle. So Lee Priest, when he would eat KFC and McDonald's, people thought that was an intentionally scientific method to gain muscle. It turns out that's what Lee likes to eat. And the other thing is that bodybuilders only have 4 to 6 months a year to gain muscle. So they have to do it the most aggressive way possible. So that's why they do that. If you're not dealing with competitive bodybuilding, you don't need to try to bulk. You just have to lean mass build. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say main gain like Greg Doucette, that you don't eat in a calorie neutrality. You don't eat isocalorically and try to recomp, what Greg calls main gain. You eat in a calorie surplus, maybe 10% or slightly higher, to gain mass. Now, the studies that are done in natural people, not enhanced people. But in natural people, they found that if you eat in a slight surplus, you gain about a 1-to-1 ratio of muscle to fat at best. But if you eat in a large surplus, it might be a 6-to-1 fat to muscle. So I'm going to do some math for you. Try not to get a nosebleed.
Greetings, Earthlings! Like, subscribe, and share this video. Share with a friend. Share with enemies. Share with people who think they know everything. I am a medical doctor, and I could be your doctor. Click the link in the description box. I can order you blood work. I could read the blood work. I can treat any illnesses. Basically, it's like an HRT clinic that's a one-man army. Also, I do coaching. Dr. Karina Dotson and I have a coaching business called Apex Coaching. So if you sign up with me, you get coaching, which is nutrition, programming, competition prep, or lifestyle coaching, as well as all the medical stuff. So you have 2 doctors in one business. It's going to be contest prep, the nutritionist, the programming person, and the doctor all in one. You can't beat it. It's integrated. It works the best that way. You'll love it. Make sure
if you
to do it.
gain 1 pound of muscle for every pound of fat, and you gain 2 pounds a month, it's like 200 calories extra a day. That'd only be like a 5, but if you're eating 200 calories a day, it's about 6,000 calories over the course of a month. It's a little less than 2 pounds if each pound is 3,500 calories. This is colloquial math. It's not actually how it works, but this is what you've heard your whole life. So I'm going to work within the paradigm that I'm dealing with. I don't need to build the frame. I'm going to use the frame I already have and paint a picture inside that frame. So if you gain 2 pounds a month and 1 pound's muscle, 1 pound's fat, then after 6 months, you gained 6 pounds of muscle and 6 pounds of fat. Now name one fucking professional bodybuilder that gains 6 pounds of muscle a year. You can't, because it just doesn't happen. We were like, what about John Jewett? So John held himself back into 212 for like 5 years. And then when he took the governors off, his body was ready to grow. Same thing with Derek. Derek has been holding himself back, losing muscle year after year, trying to stay at 212. But that's when you open it up and just let it happen, then a lot of that work that they did over the past few years all comes with a vengeance. And the body, they've put on so many nuclei and they've had so much hyperplasia, but they never did the hypertrophy that went with the hyperplasia. So they're able to hypertrophize and put a lot of sarcoplasmic growth and myofibrillar growth into what they've already laid the framework down. So, and some of you may not get that, but some of you will, and that's awesome if you did. So what I'm saying is, for a normal person, 6 months of an off season, you put on 6 pounds of muscle, 6 pounds of fat. One of us bodybuilders, we can lose 6 pounds of fat right out the gate in 3 weeks. We lose 2 pounds of fat a week, no problem, right out the gate. Now, once you get down to 10%, different story. But let's say you came off of the stage and you're at 3% body fat. If you were to gain only 2 pounds a month for 6 months, you just gained 6 pounds of muscle, 6 pounds of fat at 200 pounds, then that's 3%. You're at 5%. So you don't even need to start a diet phase. Your growth phase could be another 4 months. And then you would have gained 10 pounds of muscle, 10 pounds of fat, which only puts you at 8%. And then it would only take you a couple months to diet down from 8% back down to 3%. Now, people say that that's not realistic because of X, Y, and Z. You're right. These are silly numbers. So let's take a normal dude. A normal dude diets down to 10%. He thinks he's 3% because normal people have no fucking idea how fat they are. Then that's 3. Like, I've got a 6-pack. I'm stage ready. And they go to a local bodybuilding show. They go to the, what do you call it? Toledo Classic. And then the Toledo Classic, there's some dude who is ultra shredded. He even had cuts in his glutes. And he's like 6% body fat. And so that's the leanest they've ever seen in their life, is the one guy who had glute cuts at a state level show. And that guy's only 6%. So you got a 6% bodybuilder, a 6% body fat bodybuilder. And in 6 months, he gains, let's say, he eats 300 extra calories a day. He gains 1 pound of muscle, but 2 pounds of fat per month for 6 months. That means he's gained 12 pounds of fat and he gained 6 pounds of muscle. Now his body fat went from 6%. You'll see it's about 198 pounds of 6%. So he gained 12 pounds. So he's 210 pounds now. So he's 6% body fat more. So he's at 12% body fat. Okay, now he has to diet back down to lose that same 6% body fat. That's 12 pounds. That's going to take 8 pounds in 2 months, 4 pounds in another month. So it's going to take him 12 to 14 weeks to lose that. All right, so that's 3 more months. So 9 months, he's the most shredded person in the state of Ohio. In 9 months, he'll be stage ready again. In theory, he'd have 6 pounds of muscle. But because he had to diet down that low, some of the 6 pounds he gained, he lost. He lost half of what he gained. So he's down to 3. So he's up to 201 pounds at the same percentage body fat he was 9 months ago. All right. Now, let's say he cemented in that gains. Let's say he stayed at that weight, that 210 pounds for 3 more months. Then he dieted down. He would have kept more of that 6 pounds of muscle. He might have kept 5 of it instead of keeping 3 of it. So now he's 202 pounds a year later at 6%. Now, let's say we did it your way and we bulked. All right. So he's 6%. And then he starts his off season. He eats Twinkies and cupcakes and ho-hos, goes out for pizza. He goes to his grandmother's house and eats her cooking. He lets his wife make decisions about what they eat as a couple. And he gains 30 pounds. He doesn't gain 18 pounds. He gains 5 pounds a month. He's eating 500, 600 calorie surplus. So he gains 5 pounds a month. 5 pounds a month, it's 1.5 pounds of muscle and 3.5 pounds of fat times 6 means he gained 9 pounds of muscle. But now he's got to lose 21 pounds, not 12 pounds, which means he's going to have to diet for like 5 months as opposed to 3 months. So he's going to have to crash diet So he's going to lose half of what he gained. So it still takes the same 12 months, but now he's chunky and fat, and it was screwed up his blood work, and then he got pimples, and all this other bad shit happened, and he had to use more gear, so he did liver damage, and he had to do way more cardio, so his feet hurt. He can't pose as well, so he's not able to practice posing, and he also stretched out his midsection, so his waist is going to be bigger, and he's got digestive issues, and he's got SIBO, and all this other crap happens. So he shows up a half a pound of muscle less. His skin's a little bit less elastic. He's got less conditioning, even at the same body fat. His waist is a little bigger. And that's not even a big surplus, right? A 600 calorie surplus a day is not a big surplus. There's people who do 1,000 calories surplus or 1,500 calorie surplus. Plus, every time you go out and have like a pizza, beer, and ice cream, all of those calories turn to fat. Almost none of that shit turns to muscle. In fact, it's going to interfere with your digestion for the next 2 or 3 days. So you're going to gain even less muscle. So the bulking way is a stupid ass way. I don't care if that's what Fuad says to do. I don't agree with it. And I don't think Fuad thinks that his way is better. It's just easier psychologically for someone who's in a loving, healthy relationship with a woman who doesn't care what you look like. Now, if you're someone who's a social media influencer or you're single, you definitely don't want to become a big fat slob because it's going to hurt your income and hurt your ability to acquire women. So I would just eat clean and be a professional. In every way, shape, or form, it's going to positively influence your life to have a leaner physique than to have a blubbery physique. And a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not what I meant by bulking. It's like, that is what the word means, whether you and your circle of friends know it or not. And you can say that, well, this is 2024, words mean different things. I don't buy into that shit. That I think that the words that were in the dictionary, the way they were written in the 1980s is the way that they should stay. And I don't give a fuck about what new words come out. Or I don't care that they change the meaning of the words, that there's lots of words that should stay the same. Don't be a fat pig. Just don't bulk. Remember, every time you say the word bulk, God kills a puppy. Until next time. Oh, and if you have to deal with the consequences of your actions, then I would tell you to buy some Wrath of the Valkyrie, but all the people that bulked before you bought it. So it's not available anymore. This is the last bottle, and you can't have it because you used the word bulk. However, they're going to be back in stock soon. I just dropped a down payment on a new batch today, and it's going to be a slightly improved formula. There's twice the T2, so way more uncoupling of the mitochondria, way more fat loss, and I also changed it from beta-yohimbine to alpha-yohimbine so that it's going to have less jitters and more comfortable fat-burning effects. That is the most powerful diet pill ever constructed in Midgard or any of the 9 realms, to my knowledge. And even if you're someone who insists on bulking, that the new Wrath of the Valkyrie will be critical to undo the damage you did to your waistline by bulking. So remember, kids, never fucking bulk. Next time someone says, actually, I don't think I can say that. I think that'll get me in trouble. Anyway, till next time, may the force be with you. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Fusion Regenerative Therapies, where I am the Director of Human Performance. This is the practice in which I practice medicine. We will be able to order you blood work and read your blood work and help you with therapy as needed based upon the results of your blood work. Please click the link to get a consult with me, and I can help you optimize your performance. Thank you.